Hey students, here we are at page 2, midpoints and distance formula, lesson 4. So here we got a problem. This is a situation where they give you the midpoint and one of the endpoints, and you have to find the other endpoint using either algebra or some spatial sense. That's how you spell spatial sense. Okay, so spatial, just basically common sense here. I'll show you. What are the coordinate points of the other endpoints? So here's the algebra way. So here we have the midpoint, and we have one of the endpoints. Okay, so if you remember, you had to average the x values and then divide by 2 to get the average x, to actually get the midpoint coordinate point. So basically, it's just this right here. Okay, it's this right here. Oops, excuse me, lights just went out because I'm sitting still too long. It's this right here, but with now an x value. So lights back on, here we go. If I sit still too long in my room, the lights turn off, but a little scary, but we're fine. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Here is the endpoint, so we need to have this. So endpoint number 1 plus the other endpoint, I'm gonna use x, divided by 2 would equal the midpoint, which is 2, or negative 2 right here, okay? So it's kind of weird. You're missing this piece now. This is exactly what algebra is for. What happens when you're missing a crucial piece, critical piece? Coordinate point 1 plus coordinate point 2 averaged equals negative 2. So we would work backwards here in a second. It's going to be the same move for both. I'm going to rewrite the other one here really quick. Okay, so how did we find this number 1 right here? Well, you took 7 plus, sorry about the space, you took 7 plus the other coordinate point, you divided by 2, okay, and then it equaled 1. Okay, so solving this with algebra, how would you do this? Well, it's kind of like a two-step equation. You want to get x and y all by itself. It's going to be the it's going to be the same first step for both, excuse me. So I can't really get rid of that 5, but I can get rid of that divided by 2. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to double both sides. Times 2, times 2, times 2. Excuse me, I kind of ran out of space there. Apologize for that. Times 2. So if you take 2, if you take both sides times 2, you'll cancel that divide by 2. Cancel this divide by 2. So you'd have a negative 5 plus x equaling a negative 4. Negative 2 times 2 is a negative 4. Over here, you'd have the 7 plus y equaling 1 times 2, which is just 2. Now it's just a one-step equation. How would you solve this? Well, I would add 5 to both sides. Add 5 to both sides. The other endpoint's x value has to be 1. Okay. The other y value, minus 7, minus 7. The other endpoint's y value has to be a negative 5. Okay, so the other endpoint, D, according to the algebra, endpoint D has got to be 1 and negative 5. Okay, now let's double check that with spatial sense. So that's what you do with algebra. Okay, to me, it takes a little bit, it's kind of tough to set up, but it's pretty easy to solve. The spatial sense is just using common sense. So let me show you how to use the spatial sense method, okay? Basically what you do is you apply the same distance. When you go endpoint to midpoint, going from that midpoint to the other endpoint is going to be the exact same move, the exact same distance. So if you can mathily map out how the first point went to the midpoint and then apply it again, you'll get to the other point. This is halfway. So it's the same move, okay? Mental math. If you had a length of 8 feet and you went 4, you'd go another 4. So it's the same move. Coordinate points are just steps, okay? They're steps along these stairs, all right? So hopefully we'll get to 1 and negative 5. So here's how you do it with spatial sense. So the coordinate point C was at negative 5 and 7, okay? Then it went to this midpoint at negative 2 and 1. Okay, so you started here and then you moved here. Started here, moved here. Okay, now what happened here? That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, what happened? Well, it looks like the x coordinates, you went from negative 5 to negative 2. So it looks like the x coordinates did a plus 3. So how about you do that again? So this x coordinate over here, you would plus 3. Same move. Okay, how did you get here? Plus 3. So add a 3, plus 3, 1. Weird. That's what we got over here. Wow, same number. Crazy, right? Okay, y coordinates. What do the y coordinates do? Now, if I had more room, I would probably do a loop on top, but because of this little illustration I made, it's kind of in the way, and it's kind of already crowded in there, so I don't want to. So we'll do another loop on the bottom. Now from 7 to 1, what did you do 7 to 1? Well, it looks like you subtracted 6, okay? So going from this 1 to that y value, do it again. Minus 6. 1 minus 6, weird, is a negative 5. Boom. Same thing. Look at that. Beautiful, right? So that's the spatial sense method. You ask yourself, how did the x values and y values change to the midpoint? It looks like you did a +3, then you did a -6, and then you copy and paste. You do it again. The midpoint is in the middle, so that way, middle with a D, it's the same distance to the middle. So if you copy and paste the distance or what happened, you'll get to the other endpoint. So that's the spatial sense method. I like that one a lot better than the algebra way. This one works, but this one, I like this one a lot better because it's using common sense and spatial sense, all right? I might show you the student practice here in a second, so be ready.